Erica.
And Liana,
Come join us on Patreon.
where you can unlock weekly episodes of videos and
Be invited to Patreon exclusive Zoom meetups.
just download the Patreon app and search for Night Guys Podcast.
Or go to the website www.patreon.com/nightguyspodcast.
You can join for as little as $2 a month for full access.
See you on Patreon. Squeedle deedle deedle doodle doodle doo. Hello. It's me. Erica.
How the fuck am I supposed to follow that?
I don't
This
know.
is Liana.
Horrible.
This is the Night Guys
Do
Podcast.
the opposite.
We're here to join you weekly to cover weird and spooky stuff. I'm depressed. Just saying it like this. Supernatural, extraterrestrial, cryptid, cryptid, and I'm drinking alone because
I've been
Erica's a fart.
texting my butler. I almost said chauffeur. He can be considered that too. I don't care. But so far, he's not checking his celly, and he's not checking what's the 90s term for email.
I think it's email. 90s term. You could say he's not checking his pager.
I never had one of those.
I didn't either. I wanted one so badly. Everyone had one.
Was it like right past us? Is that why?
I think we were just a little bit too young to need
Yeah,
to
like we
quote
passed
need
it.
one. A couple of my friends had them, and I was like, "Oh man, that's so cool."
I don't think my brother had one. My dad did.
I believe that your dad
I
had
remember that.
every tech.
He had
piece
it on
in the
his
world.
belt.
Did he have it next to his gigantic cell phone?
I don't think he had a cell phone when he was like the height of the beeps.
Really? Because I feel
don't
like your dad
think.
would have had a cell
'Cause
phone
he-
starting in the 80s.
I think because he had the beeper super duper early.
He was like, "I don't need this shit."
Yeah, because I remember it being on his belt, and I remember him like tilting it to look.
the old beeper tilt.
What is that? Yeah, the little beep still. And then, like, yeah, I mean, like, oh, gotta go on the call or something.
I gotta find a payphone.
Yeah. So cool.
I cannot believe beepers were a
I would
thing.
like a beeper.
I mean, I guess.
That's the only way you can get a hold of me. Like,
You
beeper.
don't even pick up your phone anyway, so it would
Call
be
back
fine.
on the landline. Mom and I were talking about getting a landline when Esme's older, so she gets to know what that's like.
Make sure it has a really long cord, like super long.
I still have my girl talk one, and I got my Nickelodeon phone, and I still got a hot dog phone.
Oh, the hot dog phone. I remember the hot dog phone.
She's got amazing choices.
She's gonna like cycle them out like once a week. It's
Mom.
hot dog phone week.
Circuits are lighting up. Pick which one.
But yeah, either make the cord really embarrassingly short so that she has to stand in a very awkward
You
spot.
gotta do the long one.
Or we had like the monster long one where you could
Same,
stretch
my
from our
dad went to
kitchen.
Ace. Yeah, got the longest one they made. You can go
I think
anywhere in
ours
my
was
parents' house
50
from my
feet.
room.
I'm pretty sure, which in our tiny house was basically the whole goddamn house.
I feel like mine was 75.
I believe it. Your house is huge, and if your dad wanted it to
It
go
was so
that
long.
far,
Like I know I could go down the hall, make the right, and then go into the kitchen and get whatever I wanted. And I'm pretty sure I could go into the living room.
kids today will not
know
understand
I
this
did.
struggle. Or the struggle of waiting for a phone call from someone that you didn't need your parents knowing was calling you, and then being like, I'll pick it up.
That's what was great about my Girl Talk phone. If someone else picked up on another like phone in the house, it would go like, oh God, what would it say? Like caller detected or something like that.
Stupid.
And I'd be like, whoa, on the line, my bros. Gotta get off.
Oh, I just meant like if like you're waiting for a boyfriend or girlfriend to call. And you're like, don't touch the phone. I'm waiting for a call. And your dad just like, pick up the phone. No.
I think we had call waiting.
Oh, no. That's dangerous back then.
Yeah, I know. What was that? How do you flash over a call waiting? Was that 7? What was that? Or 3?
No, I don't know. I just remember there being a flash button. You could hit flash.
Was it flash? Okay. God, so fun.
What's hilarious is that we have
flash over.
We have a landline at work, but it doesn't have like call waiting.
Or a hot dog phone. You should get like a teapot phone.
That is such a great idea. What are we doing? These are the things I would do. Happy birthday! I bought you a teapot phone. I don't want this. Amazing. Too bad. You needed it. You didn't even know you needed it, but you do.
Customers will love it. It'll bring in big business.
Big bucks. The buckaroos.
You know what exists.
Oh, no, I gotta look. Hold on.
It does. It's out there.
Landline phone.
And when it rings, it's like a whistle.
Oh. I mean, no, that's
Maybe
weird.
I should be in the make phone business.
This one's a teapot shaped telephone on Pinterest. I don't have that. I don't know. I think people put these together themselves.
Love it. Can't be that hard.
Telephone teapot. Nope, that's a teapot. They're making teapots shaped like old phones. That's not what I'm looking for.
Wrong way.
Damn it.
They undid it.
Guys, I need a teapot telephone.
It exists. I'll find it.
Okay. Thank you. You're way better at this shit than I am. She will be on the internet all goddamn night.
Give me 5 minutes, man. I'll find a teapot phone. Done.
All right.
Yes.
What news do you have for me?
The most important of news. River troll photographed in Mississippi.
I love this guy.
You don't get a lot of like troll news in the world.
I'm into troll news.
Rare.
I love troll news.
I like it.
More troll news.
It better be real. A bizarre picture circulating online. I'll be really upset. Shows some kind of humanoid creature allegedly spotted by a witness in Mississippi. The peculiar photo and an account of the strange sighting was sent to the website Phantoms and Monsters. We need to bookmark that site. According to the unnamed individual who shared the image, the incident occurred back in 2015 while the witness and they've been scarred 5 years until they decided to no, that means it's messed up. Okay, they were with their family. They were living in a houseboat on an evening of a particularly low tide. They noticed something drinking water approximately 25 yards away, and upon taking a closer look with some binocs, they were astounded by what they saw off in the distance. The witness claims was an entity that was pinkish tan. Oh, pinkish tan.
So it was like white person skin color.
Pinkish tan. I'm almost imagining like pink, like naked mole rat with like
that weird sickly
tan
pink
fur.
Oh,
that's what I'm seeing.
That's gross.
Bulging eyes. Yeah, it is. Funny looking ears. 2 arms. 2 legs.
How? That's not nice.
And what appeared to be horns coming out of its head. While understandably taken aback by the presence of the puzzling being, the confounded observer fortunately had the wherewithal to snap a picture of the puzzling creature that they likened to a river troll that was devil ugly.
That's mean.
Jesus.
What if
to that end,
he has hurt feelings now?
He's like, Give me a break. I was born as a troll. What more? What are you looking for?
What more can you take from me?
Seriously. To that end, the image accompanying their account shows what appears to be the head of a creature lurking beneath a sizable branch that extends over some water. Claiming to have seen a lot of creepy stuff in the swamp while living on their houseboat, the witness asserted that I don't have to prove anything when it comes to the veracity of the photo. Be that as it may,
Good.
skeptical observers will no doubt suggest that the oddity in the photo is either a trick of light and shadow that appears to be a creature or perhaps some prosaic animal native to the region, and that the witness merely spun a tale to accompany the image. 5+ years later? No. Why?
I hate how the stupid stories that skeptics come up with. Oh, it must have just been a blah, blah, blah. Like, oh.
Yeah, it can't always be the house settling.
It's not just the wind.
It's the swamp settling. Stop yourself. I like this guy.
He looks good. He looks
grumpy. They took his picture. I mean, he's kind of ghostly.
I thought that too.
Meaning like he's translucent a little.
Well, maybe that's
and he's
his
got
light
the
spin.
eye shine. Yeah. And he kind of looks like there's a right hand, like claw hand kind of up a little bit. Mm-hmm. Maybe a goatee action. His ears seem fine to me. I see
what's up with
horns.
hating on his ears? Maybe they're just
he
pointy.
He looks kind of Dogman to me.
Yeah, I see Dogman.
Yeah, maybe he's like some hellhound with horns. Stuck in the swamp. He portaled in the wrong location. That's
which is why he's
mad.
Pink tan color now. Yeah, he's like this weird color now that he's like, no, I went to the wrong spot.
Portaled into the swamp. Again. God damn it.
Damn it. Poor guy.
I like it. I believe. It looks like something. I don't think
it's nothing.
Yeah. Lens flare or whatever.
Lens flare.
Screw your lens flare.
I hate that. It just irritates the hell out of me. Like, just
can be it.
Let them have it. Be like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Tell me more. Maybe we'll find more.
Yeah.
Why do they have to hate on it?
Yeah, go swamp troll.
Live your best life. Even if you portal to the wrong spot, people still love you.
Just portal out, do it again. Why not? I'm gonna do it. Okay.
Okay, my news.
Next order of business.
Well, okay, everybody, stop going to this tiny Turkish village because they're not haunted, they claim. So, residents of a spooky-looking village in Turkey say that their tiny community has been wrongly deemed haunted by ghost hunters and paranormal thrill seekers who have recently begun visiting there in search of scares and spirits. At the center of the strange situation is the odd town of Lubey, Lubbey, Lubey, which once reportedly boasted a population of 200 people before it was largely abandoned a few decades ago. As a result of the mass exodus, a mere 8 people live in the village today, and that minuscule number is actually something of a sign of growth, as prior to the pandemic, only 5 people lived there. So some people are like, oh, it's so nice and peaceful. However, ghost hunters are fucking this up and they're messing with the tranquility. So that's really sad. So blame for the community's newly acquired creepy reputation, residents say, can be placed squarely on the shoulders of aspiring YouTube stars who often visit Lubey and conduct, quote, paranormal investigations in the various crumbling buildings which once bustled with activity. They are shooting videos saying how our village is haunted, lamented one citizen of the community. It would be better if they at least put a caption saying, this is all fictitious. To that end, residents insist that claims of ghostly happenings in the town are much ado about nothing, and others who have visited the location seem to echo that assessment. So the people that live there are like, we've never had anything like that happen, and we don't want people to be afraid of the town because they do want people to actually move there. But the town is just suffering because people are just... It's not real tourism because they're like coming in at night and they're going and like trespassing.
Great.
So if you're going to be a ghost like a paranormal investigator, awesome. Fully support it. Just don't trespass if you don't have to.
Right.
Like, make friends with the people that own the property and go there. You know, there's plenty of places that people are like, our shit's haunted. Come.
Yeah, investigate.
Yeah. So people of this little tiny town are like, please stop.
Please stop.
I mean, they're glad that people are talking about the town, but they also don't want people to
Want
be
more.
just there for that. They want them to actually maybe move back in.
That's wild.
I mean, maybe ghost hunters
Anything
will
can
move.
happen anywhere.
I know.
It's so wild to me.
Mm-hmm.
Be like in the middle of nowhere and something will eventually happen. It's like crazy to me.
I've been like waiting for my buildings that I work at to like every once in a while, and I don't know if this is just like a flying bug that I see out of the corner of my eye, but the buildings that I work in were built in the 1800s, and they used to be houses. Like all of the little town was just houses because it was a wood mill. A lumber mill? That's what it's called. Lumber mill. Wood mill. And every once in a while, like, I'll see something moving out of the corner of my eye, but I don't know if that... Because we have the door open, so it could be bugs. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I've still, like, seen things where I'm like, what
Swamp
was...
settling.
Yeah, it was definitely, like, a heavy breeze. Moving things.
Fun.
But the buildings are old, like, really old, and they creak, and they scare the hell out of me when kids, like, run on the boardwalk. I'm like, oh, they're gonna fall through. This is gonna be bad. The wood is, like, 1,000 years old, so...
No.
They're gonna die. Well, that's why we're like, don't run. It's dangerous.
Jesus. Not good.
But anyway.
Maybe have a ghost.
Maybe have a goose.
Maybe. If you do, I heard a new theory about when speaking to the dead that it makes more sense to communicate with them telepathically.
Oh, so like, be like, in my mind, please don't
Yes.
scare me, or...
Yeah, or come say hi. Because ghosts don't have ears to hear with anymore. They're like on a vibrational or energetic level.
Okay.
So it would make more sense to communicate with them that way. Kind of like when people are praying, like it's the same like intent. Like, you know, you're thinking what you want and that's how you communicate.
Interesting.
Kind of interesting. So when you're at work, just be thinking,
I like that.
ghost, come say hi.
Or, please never talk to me. Ever.
Except
Ever,
always.
No. I think I'm with Bobby on this one. Like, I'm good.
Those are the best.
No,
I love them.
I don't want to. No, UFOs are better. Aliens are better. Yeah.
No.
First, before we continue, I sent you a link. I couldn't find a teapot phone, but I found this phone.
Oh, great. Oh, a shell phone.
A Little Mermaid clamshell desk telephone.
How cute.
There are some cool old phones. Man, the 80s had the 80s and the 90s had some
$100.
good shit. Well, yeah, because they're like,
How cute
it's
is
real. It
that?
works.
Ariel's face looks weird.
Well, I mean,
Flounder looks great. Sebastian looks good. What happened to you, girl?
she's
I love it, though.
special. Yeah.
I do like this.
Yeah. I like,
This is good.
what I like about old phones is that they didn't have screens on them. So you were like, I hope I dialed that number right.
It's true.
It's definitely a guessing game.
Yep, wrong number.
Hey, you know what? That phone even has a flash button on it. And it's from
Love it.
97. So flash has been around.
I do like, I miss phones. Maybe I'll get one.
Now you like really need a landline.
Live my life. I'm into it. I heard or read an article about how people are going back to like old phones that only text, and that's it.
I saw there before I fully removed everything from my phones, because I now just check stuff on my computer when I get on the computer, so just not very often. But I have to say, I'm using my phone a lot less. I looked into getting one because they have, I don't remember what it's called, but it just had, I think, a camera, text, and phone feature, and that's it. And like contacts too.
Yeah, Bobby, he wants that. He just can't because of work yet, but he's like, that's like his dream. He like has wanted that for at least 5 years. He talks about it fairly often. I'm like, you can get one. He's like, I can't because
I have to say though, I love my phone for the camera. I use it all the time. I'm always taking pictures, and he would be sad if he couldn't take pictures of baby.
Yeah, but honestly, he drops his phone so much that half the time his camera is not that great.
Oh my god. Boy needs an OtterBox.
Yeah, I don't think
no case can stand up to the abuse that he gives it.
Nothing works. It's bad, dude. It's real bad. I want the shell phone though.
Okay. Erica needs a shell phone, guys.
I do. It's not as good as hot dog phone, but it's up there.
It's it's a good one to swap out with when you're like, all right, I've used hot dog phone for too long. Need to switch to
we can't
aerial
all
phone.
Have a hot dog phone, so I guess some people need aerial phone.
All right, we had a fun night planned for you guys. We got a bunch of listener stories, and we're super excited and thankful that you guys have taken the time to do that. And also, Liz eked in like very last minute, and it was perfect timing. So
yeah,
Liz,
under the wire.
Good job.
Thanks for it.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
So we're gonna start with one from Darren from a really long time ago. And I'm sorry that it's taken so long for us to get back to this, but we just, we try to do these listener stories when we have enough stacked up to do a whole episode. So it's not that we don't appreciate you taking the time. We very much do. We just, I don't know.
No, we don't.
You're right. We hate it. We just hate it. Please,
I don't.
Please don't. Erica is a jerk, and
I will never say I appreciate it.
Wow. Just wow.
No.
Wow.
Deal with it.
Jeez. She's so mean.
I keyed.
Do you?
I don't. I don't.
Horrible.
I'm so excited to hear these.
Okay, so I'm going to start with Darren's. And so if you've listened to our listener stories before, Darren is one of our wonderful Patreon members. Hi, Darren. Thank you. And hi, Belinda. And he's shared stories where he worked at this horrible old veterans hospital. I mean, it was a
horrible hospital.
Horrible in that it was spooky. So
worse.
But I'm going to read his story. This is from November. So, Darren, sorry, but we love you. So awesome.
Yes.
So as he had mentioned previously in his last story, in our last listener episode, I gotta look that up. I'll figure out what episode it was. The old Veterans Hospital was a beautiful building. I have searched the internet and have not been able to find out if it still exists. It was set up on the banks of a river. There were several acres of beautiful, well-manicured lawn between the river and the drive that led up to the building. Marble steps led up to the main entrance. 2 huge columns stood on either side of the broad front porch. Just inside the doorway was a lobby. On the right side, there was a large bay window overlooking the drive. This building had full electrical power for lights. The boiler kept the temperature very comfortable by way of those old cast iron radiators. Those things are creepy to me. I don't know why they're so creepy to me, but they are.
Are those the ones that I think I know
I'm like
what
imagining
he's
the
talking
one
about.
that was in Home Alone that was in his basement.
Oh god. Yeah, that one.
The one that
no
like
good.
creepy laughed at him.
Yeah, I didn't like that guy.
That guy was awful. But that's what I
That
think
guy.
of. So I don't know if that's
Fair
right. At night, so guys, he was a night watchman. So at night, the walk through the building was always interesting, to say the least. I would start my round through the basement, quickly became familiar with the sound of footsteps, creaking doors, and the occasional whispers. Awful. I knew I was the only human down there, but nothing ever seemed to threaten, so I just made my way to the keys for the time lock and kept walking. Past the morgue, the surgery theater, up the stairs, through admin and the small ER, and then up through the patient rooms on the 3rd floor, and then finally back down the stairs to the lobby area. I could never fucking do this. Just like reading that, I could imagine it all of it. And how did you do it alone? Like, if I had you with me, you're angry enough to, I feel like, get me through stuff. But if I had to do this alone...
Yeah, you gotta fight.
No.
Otherwise,
you would be finding me just balled up in a corner somewhere.
That would be me after. Well, then I process it and I fall apart.
You're like, ah.
I would have died if I didn't turn right. Jesus Christ. It's like too much for me. It'll break my brain.
You're just breaking it down afterwards, step by step. You're like, what if I had done this?
Yeah, like I was this close. Like I shouldn't be here right now. Nope.
Am I even here right now? I don't know.
Yeah. It's scary. No.
So, in the wee hours of one morning, I sat beside one of those radiators located by that big bay window. I had turned a chair around facing the window and sat up as close as possible to keep a watch out over the driveway. My partner, Ray, had outside duty that night, but due to some day drinking, he was taking a nap in the security office in the back of the building. Like Ray.
That's awesome. Good for you.
It was still winter, and the night had been clear and beautiful. Early in the evening, there had been some small boat traffic on the river, but nothing had passed since before midnight. All was quiet and peaceful. That was when I noticed a light at the river's edge. It was water. It was probably 50 yards away and appeared to be moving parallel to the riverbank. And then it began to move through the trees toward the building, maybe at walking speed. It did not look like a flashlight, as it appeared to be an orb of light. I guess someone could have an old lantern, maybe. However,
ghost.
However, after it had covered about half the distance to the building, I could clearly see there was no body attached to this light. Oop.
Yeah, that's a ghost body. Punky doesn't like it.
Punky hates it. The demons don't like this. There was no body attached to this light. It was just an orb moving on its own.
No body.
Toward the building. Oh, and it was the size of a basketball.
That's big.
That's a big one. That's like ball lightning size.
No good.
Which, that shit freaks me out.
Ball lightning is weird.
I feel like that's got to be ghosts.
It's like a portal trying to open and they fucked up.
It's like, fuck. Where's the
Someone
location?
like learning how to conjure a portal. They didn't quite do it.
Or if it's like scientifically made up, they're like, I entered in the wrong coordinates. Quick, fix the coordinates. And it's just a bunch of people mashing a keyboard somewhere.
They have keyboards?
In the future, yeah, that's what they're doing. It's future us just fucking
I'm imagining a wizard.
Oh, see, I was imagining like science people in the future. Or like
I see Merlin.
You know what? It's they spilled wine on the keyboard. And it just...
I see that.
Maybe Merlin has a keyboard. I don't know.
You got a little drunk on that wizard wine.
The wizard mead. Okay, so we're dealing with a basketball-sized orb. Gross.
Yeah, I hate it.
I hate this. So when the orb was about 50 feet from the building, it crossed over the drive, turned ever so slightly, and started moving directly toward the window where I sat. Of course, it fucking did.
It saw him.
Oh, Darren, you're in danger. The window was about 10 feet above ground level. Hate it. Oh, the light rose to the height that
but not really.
Oh, the light rose to window height, and I stood. I could clearly see that the orb was transparent. I could see trees and the drive through the orb. Now the light was directly in front of me. If the window had been open, I could have reached out and touched it. All of this had taken place over a few minutes. The orb was kind of yellow and orangey and shimmered slightly. Do you want to read the rest? This is horrible.
Oh, I was just listening.
Okay.
I had a different story open, but I can.
Nope.
I don't mind.
I don't mind. I just want to take it all. If you were
Okay. Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
I was completely in awe. Even if somebody else had been there, I probably would not have spoken a word. The light stayed in place just a couple of feet in front of me. Oh my god. I hate it. Then, out of the basketball-sized orb, 2 smaller orbs moved out to either side. This feels UFO-y to me.
Don't like
Not
it.
real ghosty. They were about softball-sized, and they were about the same transparent color, and all 3 the same brightness as the original. After just a few seconds, the 2 smaller orbs moved back into the larger orb. Then the orb started to move back toward the drive, back through the trees, down the lawn, toward the river. Finally, it approached the river's edge and disappeared. Just like that, it was gone. All of this had taken 10 minutes or so.
Wow.
That's a
long time to sit with this and watch it.
Oh my god. I don't
10 minutes.
I would have to be committed where this hospital is. I'd be like, I'm done. Just commit me.
Yuck. That's too long.
So he's asking what had I just witnessed. It's been about 40 years and I still have no idea. I have never seen anything quite like it again. This was long before cell phones and few people carried a camera around, so no proof that it happened. Unfortunately, a short time after that event, the company lost the bid to provide security at that location. Life moved on, and I moved on. I never did...
That sounds fortunate, almost.
I know. I feel like they're probably like, let's get this guy out of here.
Yeah.
I never did attend...
Imagine working that job hung over.
Well, the other guy was asleep. He wasn't He wasn't bothered. He probably needed to drink to process all the bullshit that happened there. I would.
Yeah. Yuck. I'd have to be drunk there.
How would you get those like crazy time lock key things to work right? I would fuck that up and then I'd panic. And
I would pretend I was doing it.
No,
it
that's
really be.
They can't. That's like the whole point of. He described it
it's
before.
No,
it's complicated.
I will not do it.
Okay. Well, okay. He continues. He says, "Life moved on and I moved on. I never did attend that religious school, and I'm so very happy that I didn't. I was in my mid-20s and starting to discover my real beliefs, and had nothing to do with the conventional Protestant upbringing of my youth. Yeah." It was not until some years later that I would completely act on those changes. But, and maybe that open-mindedness helped me continue having experiences with things unexplained. Next time I will tell of an event that occurred while working as a patrol officer in a small town. Oh man, Darren.
Ooh.
You've got these stories.
You need like a book of short stories.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I said that last time, and it's still true.
We maintain that you should share these stories in a book. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it. USA. Oh. USA.
USA. USA. Must Janet always. I just can't imagine being God, having that type of job would be wild.
Yeah.
I'd be okay, but I don't like that they do, like when they're working together, that they like split up.
Yeah, that's like I said.
They did that on the last one. I don't like that.
Can't do that. You gotta be buddy
buddy system.
Like,
buddy
what
system.
what if you like tripped and fell and twisted your ankle and you can't move?
What if you get scared because you see a ghost lantern?
Yeah, and you
someone
like
with me.
pee and get stuck in a corner somewhere.
I would go faster with someone.
Yeah.
Because I'm not scared. It would make more sense.
Yeah, this alone shit makes no sense.
No, very slow.
Because I'd be
Very
like
slow
peeking around
round.
every corner being like, all right, I've assessed the situation. It appears safe. Now I'm going to run. But then I'm going to be stuck in the next spot and be like,
Didn't look through half of the building I was supposed to.
hell no. I'd be sprinting at certain points and then hiding. And
Yeah, you
like,
can't go back.
I'd be
Why do we need to
sprinting,
check it?
And then I'd wait and then I'd listen and then look around and then I'd just like, oh, fuck. And like probably close my eyes and have to psych myself up to run again. I hate this. Yeah. Just the thought of it is making my heart race. I don't like this. Let's talk about something else.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
I hate it.
Scary. Nope, you're brave. You're brave, Darren. Okay. Our next listener story is from another one of our Patreon members, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. So she says, "Hey, Erica, Liana, and pets. I haven't had a lot of spooky experiences, thank goodness. But I do have one that, looking back, might be something more paranormal than I first thought. That's always fun when you look back on it later and you're like, was that fucked up?"
At least you like, if you can look back on it later during the actual situation, you can be like, oh, that's weird. And you're not
Yeah.
as freaked out then?
I feel like that's one that's like, for me, like deja vu, like those kind of weird feelings. Like, wait, that was kind of weird that happened. Or was that person like, I feel like I get that with like people sometimes. Like that guy who said hi to me, or like, you know, like they felt strange, but not like in a bad way, just like off.
You say
kind
that?
of like vibe.
That reminds me of these weird interactions that I've been having with people more recently. Like some people that I'm like, are you a lizard person? In a, you know,
I
human
know.
suit?
There's only so many options. There's like spirit, angel, whatever you want to call it. And then there's like mean spirit, demon. And then, then there's like, are these fucking lizard reptilians, like alien in flesh suit people? 'Cause I don't need that.
I've had some people just do like the weirdest stuff. Like
Like they don't know how to be people.
kind of like this lady bought
Yuck.
tea and I went to give her change or she like handed me a 20 because it was like $15.13 or whatever. And we've got one of those like little penny jars where people just throw all of their change.
Right.
And she handed me the 20 and I was like, oh, well, I have 13 cents right over here. I can grab from here. And she was like, I don't want the change. And I was like, oh, okay.
And you were saying you'd make it exact?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I can take
So
this
no
and,
change,
and
like,
give you back a
that.
5. And she was like, I don't want the change. And I was like, okay.
So you're just
like,
giving me $20?
So I took the 20 and I put it in the till and I counted out her change and I like handed her the dollars because she was like, I don't want the change. And I was like, I get it, I guess. So like I handed her the change and she was like, and I had the quarters in my hand because there were like quarters and whatever. And I was like, here's the rest of your change. And she was like, I don't know. She didn't make any sense, but she like wanted her change, but didn't want the change. And I was like, am I missing something? Because she was
weird.
the words that she was saying.
Yeah, you started to question, like, am I speaking?
And then I didn't know if I was making sense. And
human language.
And then thankfully my boss was like working on the computer and she turns around like after she left and she was like, what was that? And I'm like, okay, good. That wasn't me. Because there have been more and more people that I feel like they've forgotten what it's like to be in public, I guess.
Damn.
I don't know. And I mean that wasn't like particularly strange, but just her
odd.
reaction to I was like, "Oh, I'll take these 13 cents." And I was like, "And I'll be able to give you a 5 back." And she was like, "I don't
13.
want that." And I was like,
ooh.
Oh, yeah, maybe it was the devil. Was it like 66 change or $6.66?
It's unlucky.
Whatever.
No, it's not.
13 is not
true.
unlucky.
It's the luckiest
It
of all
is.
luckies.
Okay, sorry. We
It
were
is
talking
true.
about Sarah. We got very
Interesting.
derailed.
Yes.
Sorry.
Many of my jobs in the past have involved me answering some kind of phone all day.
So
As
sorry.
you can imagine,
I feel for you.
real, it was not fun. But every now and then, I'd get a call that felt different. Ooh, yeah,
Like a love connection
we're
different?
saying. I'd answer the call as normal with my "I'm dead inside" perky voice.
Oh, I feel you so
It's
so
the
deeply.
best.
I understand
It's
this.
the best voice. It's like, no, my soul is dead. It's like that voice.
Oh, like when I used to work at Stamps, I'd be like, "Thank you for calling Stamps.com. Hi. Oh, I hate my life. Kill me now. This is the worst job I've ever had." Oh,
No
you want
good.
to kill me? You want to find me and murder me in my sleep? Wonderful. Great.
Please mail me a weapon of your choice with the stamps I sell you to let me off myself.
Oh, my God. Oh, I feel your pain, Sarah.
Yeah. So, but no one answered.
Ew.
Instead, I'd hear nature sounds, crickets, birds, sometimes water, once a campfire, and after a few seconds, the sound of the caller's footsteps crunching through the woods. That is weird.
So wait, was this somebody calling Sarah? Or
Yeah.
Maybe they were like, "We just feel bad."
No
for
one
you.
would answer, and she would hear. But that's odd.
Maybe they were
unless
like,
it's
"Oh, you want to hear sounds that are not people screaming? Here's some nature."
I go like really
Murdery.
creepy. Like someone has a cabin in the woods and they're like prepping to kill someone and they accidentally pocket dialed.
Or they're giving hints like the Zodiac. They're like, you'll hear birds.
Yeah, they thought they were calling like the whatever PD. They get Sweet Sarah, who's like, what the hell am I hearing? Okay.
Sucks.
The first few times this happened, I tried to talk to the person before hanging up. But as the nature calls got more frequent, I got curious and let them end naturally without saying anything. Good, yeah. Get the clues. The calls would last anywhere from a few seconds to 5 minutes.
Whoa!
That's a long time. It sounded like someone in the woods had butt dialed the business landline. Normally, that's all I would think it was, but the thing is, it kept happening. And not just at work. I'd get nature calls on personal phones.
No.
I just got all of the goosebumps.
Oh my god, I need to close my shades right now. I'm feeling a little creeped out. I hate them.
My cell phone, the home phone, even friends' phones, when I answered them, it started becoming a daily thing at one point. Okay.
I feel safe
now. I'm switching to a serial killer in the woods to somebody that maybe felt a personal connection to you that maybe passed and is calling you and giving you like something that is calm that maybe is specific to them.
Okay, that actually I hate less than
like
like
pretend there's somebody maybe that you always would go camping with or go hiking with.
Yeah.
And that's like their way of letting you know, hey, it's me. I'm still even in the afterlife going on our cool hikes. Maybe. The nature calls didn't feel scary. If anything, they were a relaxing break from the actual crappy callers I had to deal with. But they were coming at a pretty tumultuous time in my life, which felt odd and intentional. Eventually, I moved on to different jobs that didn't keep me by a phone, and things settled down more in my life. Once that happened, the calls got less frequent until I stopped getting them altogether. But I still find myself thinking about the nature calls and wondering who or what exactly I was listening to. Oh, P.S. I probably didn't see a UFO as a kid, so that's another story I can send if you're interested.
Yes, always, forever.
Yes, always. Yes. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that it's got to be something like that.
I sincerely hope that's all it is, because the fact that it was on friends' phones, that's a lot.
Yeah, well, I mean, they say like one of the main things that spirits can manipulate is electronics, you know?
Because it's on like different frequency stuff.
Yeah, so maybe they just really wanted you to know that they were okay, and if it was like a kind of rough time for you, maybe that was even more so why they were calling so much.
Yeah, being like, hey, you gotta get outside and have some fresh air, nature air.
Or remember this, you like this. This is good. Interesting. That's what I'm going with. I like that.
Okay, I like that more.
I would love that if, like, someone, like I knew had passed, like, we went to the beach all the time, and, like, I get, like, ocean noises on the phone. That would be, like, really nice.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something like that, especially since you didn't feel weird about it when you got the calls. Like, I think that feeling combined with them calling you all the time, like, I don't know, it doesn't sound bad.
At first,
if there was heavy breathing,
yeah, that would be
bad.
Or like anything other than the nature sounds, then I'd be like, all right, that's weird. But since you never heard anything weird on the calls, I'm more inclined to agree with Erica.
Yeah.
I don't usually agree with her.
Hey, if you want to be wrong all the time, that's your business.
Excuse me, ghosts are horrible, and you should hate them more.
I will never love them.
You will never love them? Okay.
Shout out, ghosts.
Nope, you said you'll never love them.
Love you, boobas.
Okay. Do you want to read the anonymous one, or do you want to read The anonymous one is a little longer. We can split that one.
Sure.
Okay. All right. I'll read the first half.
Okay. I'm excited.
Okay. So this is from an anonymous listener. My name is blank. And while I admittedly do not frequently listen to your show, my dad does. He has been encouraging me quite some time to write into you if you use any of my stories. They are asking to be anonymous, and that's fine. They say, first, a preface. I understand that basic scientific laws express that, for a phenomenon to be valid, it should be able to be replicated, repeated, or observable. My stories are none of those, and while I believe that my experiences are genuinely happened, it would be unfair of me to expect others to believe me based upon these simple scientific parameters. Pause for a second. If you experience them, you experience them, and we believe that you did. So,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I'm just saying, from our point of view, we believe you. I mean, I don't really feel like people would. I feel like you can tell when a story is genuinely told from an experience, as opposed to like the Reddit no sleeps that are clearly very fun stories.
And maybe they can be repeated, or like might happen like to someone else. And I don't know. I think some of this stuff can be repeated.
Yeah.
And you can't necessarily disprove it.
Right? Like that.
Just because you can't
goddamn
replicate it.
horrible orb.
Yeah.
The multiple orbs.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not into orbs. All right. I began experiencing paranormal activity in my childhood at a house on Pony Farm Road in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Early experiences included a shadowed figure with no discernible face, hate it, seemed cloaked, and that would go up and down the hallway at night.
Oh.
This entity seemed to have mass, as the fan on the floor, which is a box fan, would change tone and pitch when the entity was near, as these fans do when a person stands in front of them. Totally makes sense. I don't know, that seems scientific to me.
Wow.
That is so gross. That is so gross to me. Not like, that's horrible.
Yeah, shadow figure. That's really interesting. Okay.
Okay, so
very scary. So you like know where they are in the hallway when they're walking, and you're listening too. So it's like, oh, thank God, they're walking back away again.
So horrible. Well,
back now.
Over time, this entity began to enter my room with increasing frequency. It would often stand in the corner of my room for hours facing me. It took months before I would become comfortable enough with its presence to fall asleep with it in the room. Oh, anonymous. Wow. You've got cojones, because I would be sleeping in my parents' bedroom every night.
That is so wild. A lot of the time, shadow people are so strange to me.
Because
it's like one of those phenomenon that's like worldwide. Like everyone describes it the same way. You know?
No, I
weird.
can't believe that you've not can't believe, but I'm just and you've experienced shadow people, so.
Yeah, it's been a while. I don't like it. They don't feel good. I think that sometimes, I don't know, shadow people are strange. Sometimes I'm like, oh, those are aliens. And then other times it's like, are they like aliens showing up that way because they don't want us to see it? They think like a shadow is less offensive and scary?
Or maybe they're just kind of like, not teleporting in, but it's almost like a video call that they're like projecting themselves into your line of vision.
But it had mass.
Yeah, I meant yours, not his.
Oh,
his
yeah.
I don't
it's
understand
also
that.
weird.
Oh, that's horrible. I hate it.
It really is strange. And some shadow people have hats.
Oh yeah, the Hat Man. Gross.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't know.
Anyway, so they were able to fall asleep with it in the room. So there was
That's wild. I don't know if I could do that.
I definitely could never do that. Like I said, I'd be sleeping with my parents. I'd be like, "Hi, I'm back."
Even if
As
they,
an adult, here I am.
If maybe it was a puppy shadow, I could eventually.
There's certain shadows that I could probably tolerate. Animal, we're good. Human, never.
Yeah.
Never.
No.
So there was additional activity within the house and on the property that could not easily be explained. Heavy footsteps could be heard coming up the side porch. This was observed not only by myself, but my mother and sometimes by visitors.
Isn't it weird that like footsteps seem to be the thing that come through the most, but like their voices can't? Does that mean it's like less energy to walk? And are they wearing shoes? Because sometimes people hear like shoes, and then so like are they? It's so odd. So like are ghosts like when they are? It's so strange.
Well, maybe they're wearing
Like,
shoes because that's what they were buried in.
Maybe, but I don't know. I don't believe that one where it's like what you wear is what. I think it's
just
no. I know
because I don't know.
No, for sure. I'm just like spitballing because it's like. Like maybe like I could see a ghost that's like, or a person that is stuck and can't move on. Maybe they feel stuck in a certain thing that they're wearing. I could see that, but I think most of the time they're just showing up in whatever they feel won't scare the person or what is most recognizable.
Well,
because you don't want to scare people, and as like a ghost, that's like such an impossible task if you're trying to be chill. Like you could go into like, oh, I love my daughter, like I'm gonna smell her hair, and it's like, oh, fucking ghost just touched my hair, and it's like, no, I love you.
I don't know, because I'm trying to think of beings like if I'd be more scared of a voice over footsteps. I don't know, both would scare the shit out of me. I feel like footsteps might be a little less creepy.
I think they're more scary because then I don't know whose they are.
But then
if it's a voice I recognize...
Well, what if the disembodied voice is not necessarily recognizable?
If it was, then I feel like it would be better. I mean, personally, I would rather be like lights flickering. Like, talk to me that way. 2 flickers for no, 1 yes. Like, that's good. But... I heard a funny thing recently too, where it was like, do ghosts like if you believe like spirits are real, which this isn't to like disprove it, but it's like, do spirits like if you see them in Civil War outfits, like do they have an undershirt on too? Do they have socks with their shoes? Did they put ghost underwear on? Did they like... You know what I mean? Well, do they have change in their pocket?
Like, then it's maybe they're existing in what they died in.
Yeah, or they're just got the outside part and that's what they...
So it's like a shell?
Yeah, maybe. Or just like, it's either to not scare you, like, oh, like this is what I remember me looking like that I loved, and this is what I'm going to project. It kind of like it's a...
Like an avatar kind of thing?
Yeah.
Like, this is me, not the nasty rotting thing that's in the ground over there. Yay.
Right. Or maybe, like, if it's, like, the footstep thing, maybe they're thinking of, like, what's the way to let them know I'm here? Oh, footsteps aren't scary.
Or, like, oh, this is what my feet sounded like when I was alive, so they know my footsteps.
I remember walking up maybe it's, like, ghosts who just do like walking noises. They're not very imaginative.
Maybe they've just got a foot fetish.
Like I can't like conjure. I don't remember what my dress looked like. God damn it! I know what feet sound like when they touch the ground, though.
Doot doot doot. Done.
I want to hear a ghost burp. That'd be funny.
Well, if one hasn't yet, you'll be the first.
1 belch, yes. 2 belch, no.
Oh my god, let's get back to this.
That would be so funny.
You would be the first ghost to do that. I can tell.
I would love to communicate with a ghost that way. I feel like
you would be the ghost to do that.
Yeah, it'd be funny for sure.
It'd be a weird,
kind of a lot of work.
Weird ghost.
You got it. What else are you gonna do?
Seriously,
it's gotta be boring. Like, I'm bored of the eternal stream of consciousness. I'm gonna go burp talk to someone.
I'm not gonna do the stupid footstep thing. I'm gonna burp at them. Just disembodied burps throughout the house. God damn it. What does it mean? All right. So, footsteps. They were observed not just by this person, but by their mother and visitors. And the sound of an old car would sometimes be heard going up the driveway if you opened the door and looked out, and nothing was there.
Wow.
Ghost car.
Cool.
By late adolescence to early teen years, the entity that had been in the hallway had largely moved to my room in the evenings. I hate it. On some
Moved
nights, it became increasingly aggressive. At times, it would come towards me, and I would feel an immense weight on my chest and or pressure in my throat, which made it very hard to breathe. Oh my God, friend, you needed to have
Interesting.
moved.
That's usually involved with sleep paralysis. Were they like, I wonder if they were able to like move when
Or get
this would happen on some
sleep
nights.
studies or something, because as the months and years progressed, I felt heaviness just entering my house. Of course, I would practice sports, particularly soccer, extra hours in the day to try to reduce the time spent inside the house.
Wow.
That's
Awful.
so sad. On some occasions, I would have friends stay over, and some of them experienced the unusual activity as well. One of my closer friends, who unfortunately took his own life a couple years ago, I'm so sorry,
No, I'm sorry to hear that.
experienced some of the more aggressive behavior on the of the entity within the house. Awful.
Wow.
Oh no. On the night he was sleeping on one night, he was sleeping on top of a backpack on the floor, and I was on a small bed just beside him. Something grabbed each of our legs, pulled us a few feet toward the wall, pulling me off the bed toward a closet. Both of us had marks on our legs for several following days. He had also experienced the heaviness from the house and claimed to have seen the cloaked figure. Awful.
That is really scary.
Oh my
For
God.
something to be able to pull both of them at the same time.
Oh my God. The fact
a
that it wasn't
lot.
just fixated on you, the fact that it was focused on anybody in that room.
Yeah. I don't like that. That's really scary. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, so these types of incidents were relatively common in my mid to teenage years. I often saw terrible things in mirrors of the house and experienced routine episodes of what I later knew to be known as sleep paralysis.
I was going to say, that sounds just like it. Usually, shadow people are involved with sleep paralysis. And that's what's so odd about being like a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just like people are seeing shadow people, which people do, but it's like, I swear, like 8 out of 10 times there's sleep paralysis involved. So is it like there's something going on with our brains when we're in that state that like creates this thing? Or some people argue our spirits like taking advantage of that moment because you can't move, and they're like, look, I'm going to force you to talk to me right now because you are like this. So look at me. Like, maybe?
Oh, man.
Or are they causing you to be that way, even though they've said it's, you know, like a normal bodily function? But it's weird. It's weird that that's like involved. And it's always the same. So it's not like, you know, how people see the Yeti in this area and, you know,
Or like
whatever.
a triangle-shaped
Fairies
UFO
are in Scotland.
and a pill
Yeah.
and a circle and...
It's like, no, everybody sees this when this happens. It's like, what? Okay. Don't like it.
Nope.
Interesting.
Do you want to keep reading?
Sure. I would often feel the figure in my room move towards me. The covers around me tighten, and the entity sit on my chest or choke me while I wasn't able to move or even scream for help. Yeah. These sleep paralysis episodes remain an unfortunate part of my life to this day. It seems to be mitigated by maintaining, reducing the way I let stress impact me. People often have expressed surprise in how calm I am, even under severe stress. Yeah, you've been growing up with this. You've kind of like been forced to. But the truth is that I have just learned how to manage stressors so I don't have to deal with the repercussions at night.
Oh my God, friend, I just want to give you a hug. This is awful.
It's a lot. Undesired, typically work-related, travel, health concerns of a pet, career changes, financial difficulties, etc. are all common situations which can trigger sleep paralysis episodes. Sometimes even with everything going on, I will still experience sleep paralysis. Sometimes these have a false awakening component.
No, that's so heartbreaking.
Yeah, I feel that I have woken up and started my day, perhaps showered or brushed my teeth after hearing the alarm go off, only to suddenly be returned to my body and see the alarm clock at a much earlier time of the morning. Wow, so that sounds different.
No, that sounds like right, because you're in your mind, you've already woken up, and then you're like, okay, I've already started my day. And you're going about, and then you're just like, fuck, because you're like zapped back. It's almost like dreaming that you've woken up.
That sounds like he's like like projecting like outside of his body.
Well, see, I've done that. That's happened to me before. Like that weird dream, sleep, wake state where you're like, okay, I'm getting ready for the day. Like I've had that happen several times recently where I was like, I thought I was doing this already.
Oh, wow. I've had it that maybe like once or twice. I have little.
It's happened more recently. It's been happening more commonly
that's
to me.
crazy. That's different. That's almost like astral projecting and you're not like aware you're doing it. And then, or, like kind of, and when the alarm goes off, that's like, it's like being hypnotized. Mm-hmm. And then you come back. Because sleep paralysis, you know what's happening. And you can't do anything. Unless he's like dreaming vividly and then...
See, that's what I thought was happening with me because I would just like, I have gotten up. I've gone to the bathroom. I'm brushing my teeth.
Like, can you move when you're back?
Yeah, like, because I'm awake at that point. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah. That's different. That seems different to me.
Know. Okay, continue.
Typically at this point, I know I'm in for it. Sometimes I see the figure and sometimes I don't. But in either scenario, the sheets around my body are typically pulled tight around me, making breathing difficult and breathing impossible. I know the only thing that seems to break the experience is to be able to roll over. But my body feels paralyzed and it is not possible to move. I can feel my heart rate accelerate and my breathing struggle as my mind races. After moving out of my childhood home, I had hoped to have largely escaped the entities of my youth. There are times I can still feel it though. It has been with me in other cities. My wife had seen it once, and there are even nights it is with me now in New York City.
Oh, man.
There's another theory that shadow people are alien related, and that's them being able to just freeze you.
Oh, I hate that.
And then transport you wherever the hell it is they want to take you.
No.
Or they're trying to go into your house and grab something and steal it, or whatever it is they want, or get a sample from you, or this or that.
What
and then
shit would they want from my house? They have access to
they
space.
take off. Maybe they're like gonna, I don't know, take a toenail clipping or something. I have no idea. Chip you, some people claim, and then leave. And the shadows you're seeing are them.
Yuck. Yuck.
Like studying you.
Oh.
I've read a couple of experiences of that, and it's awful. One of them, the person was like coherent enough where she could see, she could get her eyes open, and she saw like what she described as aliens, like going through her shit and leaving then.
See, I'm like cool with aliens as long as they're in a spaceship just tootling around. Like, I don't want them in my house.
Yeah, that's all I think about when I think of them. No, I do not want you freaking paralyzing me. No, thank you. Okay, the odd thing is that the entities have not always been negative. Once around the age of 12 or 13, I was caught in a riptide and could not break free. I was smart enough at the time to swim parallel to the shore and was beginning to drown. I could not reach the bottom of the ocean floor, but bumped into something. It was my recently deceased grandmother that comforted me and pushed me back to where I could regain my footing. When I turned to thank her, there was no one there. That is one. That's really wonderful. Like, awful to have that experience, but that makes me happy she was looking out for you.
But I'm also glad you knew what to do with getting caught in a riptide, because that's really important. Scary. Everybody should know that. That's
sweet, really
Grandma.
Cool. She was looking out for you. A few years later, I was riding a sport bike on a windy mountain road. As I exited a corner, I rolled on the throttle into a straight section of road. I lay to see a string of light across the road. I hit the brakes hard and stopped just a few feet away from a chain that had been put up by the local national park that had just closed for the day. Oh,
I thought it was like a creeper, pulled something up in the road.
There was nothing to do. There was nothing glowing about it up close. I believe something lit it up for me and saved me from hitting the chain at 50 miles per hour.
Holy shit.
I believe it too. Wow. I have never been diagnosed with schizophrenia or any other similar mental disorder. and many of my experiences have been shared by other people. That said, what you choose to believe is up to you. As for me, I've seen the chair rocking by itself at night. I bet that's your grandma. Have felt the weight of an entity on my chest that made breathing difficult. Scary spirit or aliens, my guess. And experienced the sleepless nights with someone watching over me. I think that's grandma also. I think things are out there that we cannot explain or understand.
Anonymous, we completely agree with you.
Yeah, I do. That's...
Man, you've had
the shadow people stuff is awful.
Yeah, the fact that you have to manage that constantly is awful. I mean, I'm glad that you're able to be aware of it enough and know
that's exhausting,
what works.
though.
But exactly. I was going to say that's like a
that's
full-time job.
Maybe why it's happening because you're so exhausted.
Because that's what happens to you, right? Like
when that's literally why I mean it. Yeah, it's when I'm really tired when I wake up. It's when it's like morning, like, and this is probably why it never happens anymore. Because once I get woken up, I don't get to fall back asleep. But if it were like just me, and I woke up at 6, and then kind of like, I don't know, like, oh, there's Rue. Okay, I'll cover Punky up, go pee or something, and then lay back down. And it's like I can tell, I can feel my whole body be like, I got like an IV of like something to put me out. And it's like, no. And it's like the most seductive like sleep feeling. Cause it's like, oh, if I ride this one, I'm going to be out. But I also am like, I'm also awake in my brain and it's not going to work. And it's like, it's so hard
creepy
to fight. And it literally feels like you're fighting off like drugs. So I either have to make that decision to be like, oh, it'll be fine. Like, Bobby's already awake. He's in the kitchen. Or, like, oh, but it's kind of scary.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Oh.
I remember I told this story before when I was little, and I remember it happened, and my door was open. My parents were up. Because it was the same thing. I fell back to sleep. And I remember my mom was, like, cooking breakfast, and I could smell it, but I couldn't move or open my eyes. And it, like, helped me, like, get out of it. Because I was like, okay, someone's awake. Okay, I can smell like toast. Okay, I can do this.
You had the lure of breakfast food to get you
yeah,
out of
it helped. Yeah, like the cartoons where they float over to the pie.
I love that. I always was like, how do they do that? I want to do that. I want to float
to food.
Float to food. Yeah.
Add it to the list.
All right. Well, I'm going to read the story from Josh.
Okay.
All right. So Josh says, hi guys. As you know, me and my wife always go looking for creepy places to check out. So we live in Long Beach, so we went over to San Pedro to check out some lighthouses. And we ended up at Point Furman, and that's one on the edge of the cliff by the park. And of course, it was all locked up, reservations only for tours. So we walk around back. There's an open gate and a small parking lot for employees. First of all, I was too fucking scared to do that myself. And I'm really mad because Point Furman lighthouse is creepy looking, and I genuinely was like, oh, maybe I should just like sneak over, and I'm like, I don't have the balls to do that. I don't want to get arrested. I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. But then I wish I spoke another language so I could be like, lost so confused.
Just put it on your mute.
Okay, well, anyway, so they found
make up weird home signs that are only you know in the moment.
I would still get taken to the police. Really bad. All right, so they found the parking lot for employees. I walk in the gate halfway through the lot and turn around as my wife is...
My wife.
Hold on. I'm like having a hard time reading this for some reason. My wife is back at the gate. I yelled, come on! She just pointed and said I was going to get in trouble. She's like me. By who, I said. The lady that was in front of me walking towards me. There was no lady.
So she was like,
hey, the lady's going to get you in trouble. There's a lady walking towards you. Who was like
ahead of both of them walking
towards him. But since he was
there was no lady.
It was midday and sunny out, and we were the only ones there.
Ooh, midday. That's cool. Daytime ghost. I want to see one of those real bad.
So I was in the lot. She stopped because she saw a lady coming right at me to give me the boot, but there wasn't a lady. So she finally came in, and we looked everywhere for this lady, knocked on all the doors, etc. Nothing. Kind of creepy. But it was daytime, so what the fuck? So, well, I got to see a daytime ghost.
Daytime ghosts. They're weird.
The only thing that happens there is there's a lot of suicides on the cliff. But other than that, not sure about sightings. So...
Interesting.
I love that they saw a daytime ghost. And, like, Josh and his wife go and visit a lot of places specifically for the haunted stuff. And it's so awesome because they always let us know when they're like, okay, we're going to go to this place. It's supposed to be haunted.
I do love that. That is really cool.
I love that you guys
really
take, like,
awesome.
haunted vacations. I think
Yeah,
it's
I'm
sweet.
jealous.
Super
That's cool.
romantic.
That almost sounds like daytime ghosts, like in how she was walking. That sounds like it's just a residual haunting where it's like just replaying.
You know what?
You know?
She was some grumpy old bee that worked there. And she
She was
like,
doing that constantly to people anyway. So she's just like
forever in
it's
that
like
purgatory.
ingrained in time in that loop. It's not really her there. It's just
her energy left over.
Yeah, it's just an imprint that is stuck.
I believe it.
Oh, she's forever angry. That's really cool. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Okay, so we got one more
No
from
math.
Liz Reader.
Our lovely Liz.
Hello, ladies. She apologizes that she only has one story for us. You only need one. That is way okay by me. So my farm was haunted and that manifested in many different ways. Cool. I saw figures and
Hate
shadows,
it all.
smelled things that were not there, like perfume and pipe tobacco, and even had poltergeist activity. This story is about one of the poltergeist incidents.
Nah, I don't like it.
At the time, someone was living in the second home on my farm, and we would often talk outside. It was one of the first warm days of spring, and her dog Fern was tied outside on a long lead so she could play while we watched her. This was normal, and everything seemed the same as always until it happened. We both heard a distinct whack and saw an empty coffee can fly across the yard and land about 15 feet from where it had been. The can had been used to feed Fern earlier in the day and had been sitting beside the porch steps. It was now across the yard,
Oh, no.
only a few feet from the fence surrounding my backyard. I asked the neighbor, "Did you just see that?" Her response was, "Yes, I did. I think your ghost wants our attention." Fern, the dog, looked at the can when it had landed in the yard, but otherwise seemed completely unbothered and went right back to playing with her. She was like, "There's no food in this." Couldn't care
Ghost
at all about this.
is not helping me. We're not friends.
Yeah. This was not the first or last event of poltergeist activity to happen there. I had doors that both opened and closed in rapid succession, objects that seemed to teleport from one location to another, and my refrigerator door often opened and closed. Seeing a shepherd's lantern that hung on the living room while swinging in a circle was a normal thing.
No.
And I even had a bad quality video of that happening. What? I want to see it. No one in my family was ever frightened of the activity, and it never really bothered us. It was like the ghost just wanted to make sure they weren't forgotten.
No.
I believe that.
I mean, they didn't
Little
hurt
tricksters.
you or anything or hurt the animals, so like that's what really matters.
It would be frustrating to have to, like, if you're like a ghost that wants to be chatty, like.
But the
and
fridge
you
door
can't-
one, as long as the fridge door was actually closed again, that would
Yeah,
that one
all
would
the
make
way.
me really fucking mad.
Yeah. Well, she said often open and closed, so hopefully it's like back to back.
Open, close.
Not open
close.
hour later. Close.
Oh, you just bought all these groceries? Excellent. Leave it
Oh.
open overnight.
Leave the door open for you.
Hot summer day, leave it open. Dick ghost. So rude.
That's crazy. I think that, considering they were nice, I think it's really cool.
I like that the neighbor was like, yeah, your ghost is up to something.
Yeah, I think it's trying to say hello. Something.
Perhaps.
That's wild. Haunted farm equals cool farm.
I don't want to go to Haunted Farm.
You want to live on it?
No, I do not. I like that my
You never know
house was
until you
built in
try.
the 80s and not like Poltergeist house, so I'm safe. I
Never
double
know.
checked.
Maybe there's a spirit floating around. It's like, I like this house.
No.
I will land here.
No, they won't because our front yard looks like shit and our backyard is super undone and we're missing a lot of components. to the
Ghost
house.
doesn't care. They
Ghost
were kicked
cares.
out of other house, so they're desperate.
They should go to our neighbors. They're crazy. They need ghosts.
Maybe they have too many there. That's where the ghost got kicked out of.
No. No. They're not welcome here. I put salt on all of my doors and
Ghost
windows.
loves salt.
No. Protection salt.
Loves margaritas.
Maybe if I give them margaritas, they will go away.
Yeah, you could do that.
An offering margarita.
Yeah, that would work.
Okay.
I mean, that's a Day of the Dead stuff, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
mostly
Right.
booze.
Bouze.
Booze. Might as well.
All right.
And then one for yourself.
Well, obviously, you can't just
You must.
give one to the homies and not have one for yourself.
You got to. You got to.
Recently, we've been drinking gin and tonics, and they are delicious. We're enjoying them.
Oh,
Like,
that's rough.
It depends
I
on the
could never.
gin. If you're having trash gin, then it's bad.
no, I don't like
You
it.
only like honey sweet, like hummingbird drinks that are
I
made
like-
of sugar.
My wine, I like my cider. And yesterday we had mojitos, and that was a baller. That was good. Friday we had margaritas.
Do you
also
have
good.
mint growing at your house?
No, we just bought it from Oliver's.
Fool. Okay, can you just stop at my house because I have a lot of mint. Like, a lot. Because I grew it because I wanted to try to scare away mices.
We have a ton of mint that grows here, but we have dogs, so it just doesn't work.
We don't have doggies or animals that pee on our mint.
Yeah, Reggie and them are all about it. You want pea mint? I got that.
Pea mint.
It's everywhere.
Gross. You should have a special spot of just non-pea mint.
I know. I need to do it. I don't have time
I
for
bought
it.
our mint. It was like organic mint at Trader Joe's, and it was like $5 for a plant. And I was like,
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what?
You can just
Great.
stick it in
And I
water
just
and it'll grow.
Shoved it in the ground, and it has exploded.
Oh, dude. Mint's
It's totally a
impossible to
weed.
get rid of.
I know. And
Yeah.
when we did it, we're like, this is a commitment forever.
Yeah,
I don't feel bad.
Relentless. No,
I
it's
love
good.
it. I love
do
it.
too.
It's minty.
It's good. It's real good.
Well, guys, thank you so much for
Thank
sharing
you
all of your stories.
so much.
This was
These
wonderful.
were spooky tales of horror, and I loved them.
They were horrible, and I loved them. Horrible because I'm a weenie, but I still love it.
I enjoyed them. They're good. I love these kinds of stories.
And we got to
They
hear about
make
a
me feel
daytime
hopeful.
ghost and your sleep paralysis stuff and
Those are
orbs.
weird.
I
Don't
hate
like
orbs.
Orbs are so weird. They're just ghosts
Are they though?
or interdimensional creatures.
Are they though?
I think so. I really do.
I think it's Merlin or a scientist spilling wine on a keyboard.
Because ghosts, Bigfoot, aliens, fairies, all
Trolls.
the sightings
Yeah,
have.
trolls.
Yeah, dude, probably them too. All those guys, orbs are just common. They're seen with them. It's strange.
Okay. I wonder if there were orbs when they saw a troll guy in the swamp.
Probably.
But I
Swamp
bet I was
gas.
going to say some naysayers going to be like, "Ah, it was swamp gas."
Swamp gas. Get out of here. Your swamp gases.
Why is the term swamp gas so funny?
And because it's gas with swamp.
Right? But then it also makes me think of swamp ass, which
Yeah.
is also
Where
unpleasant.
gas comes from. Swamp gas ass.
Swamp ass gas? Ass swamp gas? Such a good...
Swamp gas smells like ass.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
It does. Science.
That was accurate.
Can't be repeated.
Definitely replicated. For sure. All right. Well,
Thanks,
join us
guys.
next time. Always share stories. And again, I'm sorry that it took so long to get to some of these stories. Wait. We missed one. As I said this, oh my God. No, we gotta go back. Sharon sent us one, and I skipped.
Oh, nice.
I accidentally skipped it. I don't know how. Sharon, I love you. I'm so sorry. It was
We love you, Sharon.
my bad. I was like, wait, I feel like there's one that I forgot. Okay. She says, hello, Night Geist ladies. So I have some creepy, spooky news from the last frontier for you. She lives in Alaska.
She's cool.
Yes. I'm sure you are familiar with the strange phenomenon, of course, in the Pacific Northwest of severed feet. Yes. We've talked about the severed feet swashing up on the shores.
So weird.
Well, there was a foot that washed up in Juneau in 2020. Is it wrong that I'm bummed that I wasn't the one to find it?
No, it's not.
Well, they sent it to Anchorage for the forensic lab to see if they could identify it. Turned out to be the remains of a man named James Cole that was in a boating accident in 2017. He and 4 other people, plus a dog, got capsized in bad weather. I'm going to tell myself the dog made it. And we just never saw him again because he went and lived with Bigfoot.
Can't both.
Cole and the other person were never found, but the other people and the dog were able to be rescued. Okay.
Okay, something positive.
Cole's family submitted their DNA to the police in case his body was found so they would be able to positively identify it. It's so sad, but yay, the dog lived. Most forensic scientists believe the severed feet come from people that end up in the water for any number of reasons. And, gross trigger warning, as their body decomposes and sinks, it will break apart from animal activity and or water currents. Since most shoes float, when the feet become detached, they can float to the surface and eventually wash up on shore. Insert gross shivers. Well, I honestly was like, did they freeze into an ice block and their foot just, like, it melted and, like, the foot just floated away? I take the dumbest possible ideas.
I like that. It's more creative.
She also just found out there are 2 journalists here that pre-pandemic times held true crime story lectures in town. It's called Death with Dessert. They would serve cake and other goodies while giving presentations of historical crimes that happened in Juneau and other nearby towns. Well, they're starting it both up again in streaming and in person. In the article she read, they mentioned a few stories that they had covered, like how in 1957, when a woman killed her husband and tried to get rid of the body by chopping him up and throwing the parts out the window into the sea.
Wow.
But unfortunately, or fortunately, she wasn't paying attention to the tides and they ended up just on the beach and not in the water.
God.
How can you not pay attention to that?
People are
Super dumb.
so surprising sometimes.
Sharon, thank you for sharing. Sorry, I keep thinking about this dumb lady who's like, doot. Like, I mean,
No.
what did he do to deserve getting killed?
I would like to know. I want to know more about that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I know that's totally victim blaming, but I mean,
You don't know till you know.
yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Thanks, Sharon. Okay, now for real this time, we're gonna go.
Okay. Oh, fine.
What? Did you have more stories?
No.
Oh, well.
I'm just being a dork.
Oh, okay. Do you?
Hey. Always do.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining the Night Geist podcast. I don't know what that was. I'm gonna go now. All right. I'm Liana.
Good day.
Good
Hi,
day.
America.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.